the fear of success and the fear of failure, and how these are sort of constants in human life process. We spoke before, we used the metaphor of Schrodinger's cat, which is a scientific scenario where a cat is placed in a box with a vial of poison that will be released based upon the breakdown of a radioactive material. So there's no way to know when this poison would be released. And so from a statistical vantage point or a scientific minded vantage point, they could say that in any moment of opening the top of the box, the cat could either be dead or it could be alive. And there's no way to know which. So in a way, supposedly, it's both dead and alive at the same time. Now, that's not a happy scenario, and we apologize for it. We don't have a better one. And if you folks come up with a better metaphor, please tell us, then we won't be required to use that one anymore. So, and does failure and success make sense as the kind of Schrodinger's cat scenario? In any given moment, we can imagine that we're either failing or we're succeeding. And that interpretation, that process of moment by moment interpretation of whether we are either succeeding or failing will generate emotions. Now, we might feel really good about succeeding once we've succeeded, and we might be totally terrified of succeeding until we succeed. We might succeed, and we might constantly fear we were going to fail the whole time we were on the way to succeeding. And then we succeed, and then we feel joyful unless and until the success then seems to generate a new unwanted state or situation. So this interplay between projected imaginings of success or failure is a constant dynamic of healing, and it is transcended only via consciousness and recognition of that there is a middle way, neither polarized failure nor success. The challenge in that regard is that quite often we learn from polar experiences, good, bad, right, wrong, safe, unsafe, true, false. If you're in a room anywhere and we ask you to find the middle of the room, if you had a measuring tape, you'd measure from the walls and all the most distant walls, and then from those walls you could find the middle. It's that middle point that can only be understood by first understanding the extremes, the polar opposites. And then once we understand and have experienced those extremes enough, as we were saying with Esli, the karmas are a good thing. They're not a problem. They're a vehicle for evolution of understanding. It's through the experience of working through them that we are empowered to know where the middle is, and then to stay there consistently and to retain our balance, our internal harmony, and our capacity to continually equanimously love. So we would suggest that fear and pain are often synonymous experiences, or stress, fear and pain. And thus, we often feel the need to be healed out of those states. And post that healing, then we have greater consciousness because we're no longer operating from a projective fear, either a projective fear on the possibility of failure or a projected fear on the possibility of success. If for example, if someone wanted to become a doctor and they went to 6 years of medical school, they might fear succeeding as a doctor in terms of their education because of all the downline responsibilities they would have with patients. They might fear failing to pass their tests, and then they would, the fear of success in the future, it would lead them to then fear they might fail their patients in some way, is a new type of fear of failure that tends to appear post the fear of success passing into the past.